they also encourage unfair shifting of taxes. If you go to do CFO, for instance, and you submit the papers, they will insist that you, who bought property, who will pay the stamp fees, will also pay the capital gains tax. And you are telling them, look at the deed I have given to you, look at the man who bought the property, look at his address, go there and collect the capital gains that you say, no, you are the one who wants to see your phone, you pay it. So people end up, I'm talking about Delta states, and they are still doing it. So people end up paying double. You pay because you bought the property, and you pay for the person who should pay the capital gains, because they are simply too lazy to go, and they have all the information. They know how much you have got the property, they know how much is due to them, they know where to go and get the person, but they just don't want to go there. So I don't know how it's going to work with faith. Anybody? My 11 friend has taken care of the Lord. So,
my name is Chisom Chude. I'm the welfare officer, MBA or branch. Yes, I want to borrow the words of my brother. This idea is innovative. But the challenge I want to point out, I was waiting to see it, was this issue of multiple taxation. How are we going to implement this? Why you still go down to the marketplace? Let me use Anambra as an example, where you collect taxes from market women. This person will come today, another person will come tomorrow, and they will continue collecting taxes from these people. How do you think this VAIDS is going to work when most of them are crying? So we have to address the problems we are having presently before we can be able to apply this VAIDS for it to work, so that people can come voluntarily and declare their assets. That's all.
Thank you very much for the existing protocol. The idea is very good, but like some of my colleagues have said, it's meant for the masses. We are talking about bringing into the net assets that we don't know of, but the ones we have known, how have we collected them? Let me start with the senators. I work for the federal government. Before they pay me my salary, they take their tax up front. What of our senators? What of our governors? I'm privileged to know that they are getting jumbo salaries. Those ones are assets that we know. How have you gone about them collecting the tax from them before coming to the masses? They should set good example, our leaders. Most of them don't pay tax. I'm privileged to know that. So let them bring those ones into the next. People will be happy to go and pay their tax. Not that somebody is collecting 2 million, 3 million, and is not paying anything. With my own little income, you will come and tax me because you have the powers. Please, let us start with the people at the top, and the people down will follow suit. Thank you very much.
One more question, two. One delegate. So
I'm from the Statistical Society of Ireland. The facilitator made us to understand that VAIDS is different from code of conduct. What I want to find out is, is there a provision that the information in VAIDS will not one day be synchronized to the code of conduct? Is there a provision for that? That's my simple question.
From Foundation and Society of Ireland. My question is, actually we've had it all, but the question is, what are the action plans that are already in motion to convince us? Because we have to start from the known to the unknown. The little we are paying, that maybe based on what we are hearing is that we are not doing much. What are the actions that has backed up with that little? The one that there are actions in plan that will convince the public about the VAIDS. That is what I want to know.
thank you very much.
I think what we're asking for are questions. But all of us are making comments because we are worried. Government is not collecting money, only 6%. And the government wants to collect more. That is the issue. And I think the problem is because government, you said they have already 20 billion from the amnesty, I mean, 20 billion. That 20 billion can they put it down for something we can see? One or two projects. If they are doing anyone on Sharuk now, with the 5 billion, and we are seeing it, they should put that there from the embassy tax collected. There should be a carrot. And I saw that you are part of the initial advisory committee. The government is supposed to use carrot, show us what they are doing with the one we collected, and then tell us what they are going to do with the one that we are collecting. Secondly, can't we get local statistics? Local statistics. When we talk about Nigeria and Sweden, you come up with a lot of regional imbalances and ineptitude and laziness that is available all over Nigeria. Can we use Lagos State as an example? If we have Lagos statistics, what Lagos is doing, which is very clear. Maybe River State, we did that started yesterday. What they are doing, they are collecting some money. What are they doing that other states need to copy? You know. So as we get this much, so we can look at our neighbors and our brothers, what they are doing, not Sweden or USA or whatever. If we have local statistics, it will help to drive this topic home. And then get government to use the more they have to show the example, and then we can try to opinion. That's my observation. Thank you.
I'm a mass like you. Say we are massive. I'm massive like you. So I'll answer the code of conduct question. No. The objective of VAIDS are totally different from code of conduct. Code of conduct is for public officers and VAIDS is for everybody. VAIDS is to expand the tax net. Code of conduct is for persons who are entering into government office. So the objectives are entirely different. Yeah, I will speak as a private individual. I'm not a government official. I will defer the time to take the rest.
Thank you very much. I think it's afternoon, right? Good afternoon, everyone. I like those questions that you were asking. And I'll just say to myself, I hope that many more Nigerians will ask those questions. That's actually what we need. You know, the level of tax awareness in Nigeria is close to zero. When many countries around the world, and we're not talking about just the developed countries, even many countries in Africa, when they're trying to select or elect their leaders, tax is always a major agenda item. And the reason is not far-fetched. That is the only sustainable source that you can use to take care of the people. And we have here sometimes, many of our leaders, the first time they even heard about tax clearance certificates is when they're doing the screening. They don't have it. Then somebody who is supposed to do the screening then points them to an office where they can go and pay. And they get there and they pay 25,000 naira or 50,000 naira. And they come back and they get cleared to lead and manage taxpayers' money. Someone who never paid taxes before. When Obama was first elected in 2008, and he nominated his secretaries, they call their minister secretaries. The first thing that will happen is the IRS will do their due diligence, detailed investigation about the person. One of the nominees had paid about $100,000 in taxes. IRS said he should have paid $105,000. He underpaid by $5,000. When they investigated the reason, they said, was it justifiable for somebody who underpaid taxes to preside over taxpayers' money? This person was not even a finance person. He had hired an accountant and a lawyer to manage his tax affairs. He said, we're sorry, those are just your agents. You remain liable and responsible for your tax compliance. His nomination was withdrawn. Not that he did not pay, he paid $100,000 instead of $105,000. Now, once you set that high moral standard for yourself, everybody else will fall in place. Because essentially what we're saying is, let us start from the top. It's a very valid point. But that top is also linked to the bottom. Because the bottom allows the top to get away with doing the wrong things always. Yeah, I know the question of how. I'll tell you a few things we've done and some that we're still doing. And we need everybody to come on board. Some of it is with the new national tax policy, and I was a member of the committee. It has now been set and approved, so we're working through how to implement it, that INEC must include those requirements in the screening process. And you don't come and pay your tax of 50,000 naira 2 weeks before the screening. You must have paid the tax at the appropriate time, as at when due. You know the good thing about tax is that people who go over and above board to do it at the right time are usually the exceptional people out of us. So if you insist today, that condition alone, you just insist that if you want to be a senator, governor, even to nominate for minister or commissioner, the screening is that you must have, we will study your lifestyle. You must have paid the right amount of tax as at when due. If you use that screening alone, you find good, competent, honest people will be our leaders. We will not get there overnight, but we need to start that journey now. The other thing that we're trying to do, even though I'm a little bit reluctant to say this, but I'll say it, because some guys can stop it and it will not happen. If we are trying to form a taxpayer association of Nigeria, because there's not a single platform that is powerful enough to hold government to account in Nigeria. Everybody is scared. Call ICANN sometimes they will moderate what they say. Maybe NBA is even trying better than the other people. CITM too will say it and modify it, because everybody is looking for government support and government patronage. If you use private platform, you are in trouble. You can't even try that. The view that I say with PwC brand, I get into trouble from time to time. But we cannot become helpless. Once we form this Taxpayers Association of Nigeria, it should be Nigeria itself. Nobody can pull it down. And then that's when you trigger. You know, we already have so many things to trigger, like the Freedom of Information Act. Why don't we know how much Mr. President has paid in taxes? And the governors, and the deputy governors, and the senators. They're not exempt from personal income tax anymore since 2011. But they are not paying. And nobody is asking them. In one of the sessions I had with the Joint Task Board, I said it's important for us to ask our leaders to pay. Let them start paying first. And I encourage them to go and meet their governors to say, Your Excellency, you have not paid. We have calculated on your behalf, this is how much you need to pay. One of them said, Taiwo, when you find another job for me? That's the reality of it. But there was a guy who was bold enough. And the guy went to his governor and said, Sir, you need to pay. I said, but I'm the governor. He said, yes, but even the governor is supposed to pay based on the law. The guy said, didn't know. He thought that as governor, he doesn't need to pay. So he said, okay, I'll pay, but let me think about it. So eventually he said, I'll give you 5 million. He didn't calculate anything. He just said, I'll give you 5 million, so you can allow me to rest. But I said, that was a good starting point. Do you get it? That was a good starting point. Now, so a lot of the issues here about why are we comparing Nigeria with Sweden, why not local comparatives, how about multiple taxation, what about the information we provide under VAIDS? What action has government done to convince us? How about the 20 billion they collected? How did they spend it? All very good. Capacity building. Yeah, so that's for professionals, or for VAIDS. Okay. Now, so the thing about it is, you know, there's a way government spend their money. So when FRS collected, it was actually about 27 billion they collected. So they're still expecting 40 because they said people should make down payments and balance up. So the one they collected is 27 billion. You know, there are rules as to how that money should be spent. So that money goes into the Federation account and Consolidated Reserve Fund. And then based on that, you share. So nobody can come and tell you, this particular 27 billion is what we're using for this road. You can't trace it like that. It's gone to all 36 states, 774 local government, and federal government is gone already. And Somebody says it's bad accounting. And many of them are still even owing civil servants. They are not even paid salaries. Yeah? Which is terrible. So, the first our priority is to even pay civil servants. People should not work and not get paid. When I was growing up in the village, my dad would always tell us, you know, he said there's this philosophy. You know, in the village, when we had work, we go to the farm. There was this philosophy in the village that if you hire a laborer to work for you, the sweat must not dry up before they get paid. And that for me, even if I was still a very young boy, but I remember till tomorrow, I can't afford to ask somebody to work for me and hold them for 5 minutes. It's insane, it's cruel. But that's where we find ourselves. Some of the governors say, I like to pay, but I just can't find the money. And some of them will easily blame the past governors and people that were there before. But to be honest, all of us, including those of us in this room, have a share of those blames. Yes, we are all responsible for where Nigeria is today. The magnitude may differ, including me. All of us are responsible for where we are. But we know that this status quo is not sustainable. In the first 6 months of this year, government had spent 66%, 2 out of 3 of the revenue they collected in servicing debts. What we spent the debts to do, we cannot remember. When a country is collecting so little and then spending so much of it to service debts that is not even productive, that is a country heading towards bankruptcy. It is dangerous. It is not something you wish for your worst enemy. That was what happened to Zimbabwe. Yeah? Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, and you can Google it up and find out. When we had one event for PwC in Africa, in Cape Town, and one of our partners in Zimbabwe came. And because I've read a lot about them, heard a lot about them, I wanted to ask. And then I asked them, how are you coping with the problems you're having in your country? You know, once you get to a level where you now can't even service your debts, and there's no money coming in, because crude oil price is down, no taxes coming in, you know what government will start doing? They just print money. You know, they don't need license to print it. When government start printing money, that's the economy is collapsing. That's the end. You have to start all over again. That was what they did in Zimbabwe. They just printed money and printed and printed. And it got to a point, to buy a loaf of bread, you need 100 trillion Zimbabwe dollars. 100 trillion. So this, my friend, I collected 100 trillion Zimbabwe dollars from the guy and gave him $10. He was grateful for the entire conference. $10 US. Because I kept it as souvenir. I still have it with me. Because you could not have imagined on earth that 100 trillion Zimbabwe dollars was barely enough to buy a loaf of bread. The guy said to me that he asked me whether I've seen inflation before. And I told him he wanted to ask whether I understand inflation. I said, I'm an accountant, of course I understand. He said, I'm not asking whether you understand inflation. Have you seen it? So I said, no, I have not. So okay, I will tell you that we see it every day. The guy gave me 3 examples, and I quickly agreed with him. And I will give you those examples he gave me, just so you understand that this issue we are talking about is about us. We can discuss how best it should be done, but doing nothing is not an option for this country. If not for us, for the generation coming behind us. The guy said, if you get into a public transport, let's say you want to take a bus, nobody tells you the fare when you are getting in because it's irrelevant. The fare at the time you get in will not be the same when you are getting out. So we just wait. When it's time for you to get down, we tell you, if you don't quickly pay, we hold you back and tell you the new price. He wasn't joking, but this was real. The second example he gave me was, if you wanted to drink water, and you stand in front of the person selling the water, and you take a bottle of water like this, and you drink, I say, I feel like the second one, that second one you're asking for is more than twice the one you just finished drinking. So the third example he gave me was a woman who wanted to pay school fees, and the woman had only goats, nothing else. She ran to the school. What is the school fees for this term? They told her. She ran back, carried goats, soaked, went back. Money had been 3 times. She then said to the school, now, you know the problem is when you have high inflation, the inflation was in tens of millions %. You know what they tell you, inflation is 55 million %. Okay. So the woman said, now the problem is that I have not sold the goat. If I did not sell the goat, the price, the value of the goat goes up with inflation, right? She then negotiated, why don't I bring the goat to come and pay the school fees? And they agreed. So that's my partner from PwC in Zimbabwe said clients started paying for audit fee using goat and rice and beans. They also said to staff, we too, since it's gold that we collected, salary shall be beans and rice and gold. It was like African magic, but it was real. You see money on the street, nobody was speaking money again. Money was useless. Money inside sack, it would just be on the road. Nobody carried it. And then nobody needed to tell the government that they had collapsed completely. That was why Zimbabwe eliminated their own currency. They could not spend their currency again. As we speak today, they spend foreign currencies because the economy wasn't working. Government wasn't making money. We hope and pray that Nigeria will not get anywhere close to that. I think we need a turning point for Nigeria. And I think VAIDS is one of the turning points that we must embrace. One thing I can tell you authoritatively is that VAIDS is not targeted at the masses. So that's the message that I thought that we got not quite right. It's not targeted at the masses at all. But they also want the masses to do the little they can because the masses are the people that will make it work ultimately. Now, it's targeted at the high net worth individuals and multinationals. That is why the asset tracing company that Fola even told you about, they started by giving them 150 names. Now they've increased it to 1,500. You would agree with me that if they are selecting 150 names in Nigeria, it will not be massive, right? Those guys who are doing asset tracing, they are very expensive. You cannot go and ask them to trace a guy who has 4 million naira. When they finish tracing, the fee they will collect will be more than the tax on the 4 million. So it's pointless, isn't it? So they are tracing guys who, if they pay tax alone, it's enough to survive for a local government to survive for a whole year, and they are not paying. When this program was being launched, the acting president at the time, now vice president, said that only 214 people, 214, in the whole of Nigeria paid more than 20 million naira in personal income tax. Only 214. All of them are in Lagos. Now, I did an analysis for South Africa. I did not go outside of Africa, just to stay closer to home. And I found out that last year, federal governments of Nigeria plus all 36 states in tax revenue collected just a little over 5 trillion naira in taxes. 5 trillion. South Africa collected 25 trillion naira equivalent. It's a smaller economy, comparable unemployment rates, and they were also having economic crisis like us. They just also got out of recession the same time we got out. When they were the ones that told us we were in recession, did we know? Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I'll move on straight to the next presentation, and some of the questions will be addressed. Once I finish, if there's anything that's outstanding, I'll take those questions. I do not have all the answers, but one thing I can promise you, I'll take everything you are saying straight to the finance minister, and those issues will be addressed as best as possible. One thing I can tell you is that I have seen now, more than ever before, a level of sincerity in government. It's a level of sincerity that I have never seen before in Nigeria. When they said they were doing the use of doing business, 60-day plan and all of that, I didn't take them seriously. They wrote their plan. You know, they've been sending updates and invited the private sector to the State House to give us an account of what they have done. And some of the recommendations we made, the last meeting was with the VP about 3 weeks ago. Some of it, they've already announced what they're doing about it. And I'm impressed. It's not what I like it to be, but it's much better than what it has been before. And if we all support them in that little, we will still criticize them. But when they do one little thing that is working or positive, let's say it as well. Otherwise, it can also be very depressing for the person who is trying to make some effort. If the only thing they hear is just negative, 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 and negative. Okay. Word of continuity, God bless you, sir. One of the things that some of us say every time to government is that we need strong institutions, not just individual superstars who come and go. There's a survey that was done, and this was about, and also a book has been written as well about why nations fail. And it was talking about the secrets of prosperity of nations. And it says that 3 things are very important for any country to prosper. 3 things. Number 1, skills, the skills of the people. Number 2, infrastructure. Number 3, institutions. Interestingly, that study concluded that skills, even though it's important, it can be imported and exported because it's mobile. Dubai is one of the most advanced cities in the world today. You know, just yesterday in Dubai, they launched the first ever flying cars in the world. It was launched in Dubai yesterday. The car flies. Flying taxi, they launched it yesterday. There was a time that 25% of the world's crane, you know, crane is what you use for heavy construction. 25% of the world's crane were in Dubai working. Emirates has been voted as the world's best airline. You know, it's being run by a British. Are you aware? It's not even an Emirati. It's a foreigner. So all these things I've said, tallest building, they didn't build it themselves. They got people from different places all over the world. For them, they come up with the idea, they look for who is best placed to do it, bring them and they do it. At the end of the day, you can't carry the tallest building to your country, isn't it? Emirates is now the world's best airline. Who talks about British or the UK? You talk about the UAE. So skills is mobile. I'm not saying it's not important, you can get it if you don't have it. Number 2 is infrastructure. Infrastructure will not happen overnight. And many governments will never be able to raise money on their own to build quality infrastructure. You need private sector. Go to the US, they don't worry so much about many infrastructure. Private sector will do it and do it far better than government. And it will work. Interestingly, that study concluded that 70% of what you need for a country to prosper is about the quality of the institution. That if the institutions are right, you can import skills, which is about 10%. And that once you have the skill, the infrastructure will happen. And then you have the 100%. You will not find a single country in the world, not one, where they have robust and quality institutions and they have bad governance. It's impossible. So to answer the question about sustainability and continuity, I would say at the moment we do not have it. We are only just happy and maybe lucky to have a few guys who are thinking about Nigeria. We still have majority, even in today's government, who are thinking about themselves alone. What can we do to change that? Is to build institutions. That's one of the things that the National Tax Policy is trying to enshrine. So once you build institution, INEC does what it's supposed to do. FRN does what it's supposed to do. Joint Tax Board, there's a proposal already to enact it. Joint Tax Board today is advisory. It can only advise, it cannot bite. So if you enact it and give it legal powers, it can bring in some coordination. The issue that you raised about multiple taxation is because today nobody has the power to stop anyone. We know that the fundamental problem starts with the constitution itself, and I have proposed to government, why don't you amend the constitution and say, we recognize it's a federal system of government, let everybody collect taxes, but you know what? No level of government should have at any point in time taxes that are more than 10 in number. I have not taken away your powers to levy taxes. I've only said do it with common sense. If your number of taxes that you currently have is 10, and you think about a fantastic idea of additional tax, sir, find one to repeal first before you bring in a new one. If those things can receive consideration and be enacted, we will start solving our problems one at a time. So what I'm going to take us through now is an overview of the requirements for VAIDS compliance. And I'll try and touch on a few other concerns that we have and that we have raised. So we are going to be looking at those requirements, and because many of us in the room are not just taxpayers, we are also professionals who need to help other people to comply. That's why this meeting is very important. If you are not happy with where Nigeria is, but I want to contribute. And you contribute to your own little way by now advising your clients, if you are a consultant or an advisor, to do the right thing. If you work for an organization, by telling the organization, let's do the right thing. For your own sake as well, individually, do whatever you can. And then let's see what's going to happen so we can pay. Or comment says, but you get to pay so I can demonstrate to you. There's also a question about countries where you have high tax to GDP ratio are all developed countries. All of them are developed countries where things work. And the question is it that by paying taxes, countries develop? Or is it that countries develop first and so they can pay taxes? Nobody knows what the perfect answers are. But one thing we know in Nigeria is that for so many years, people haven't been paying taxes and it hasn't worked. So that can be the solution, right? So let's try another one where we say, let's try and pay our taxes and see what we do with it. So I will try not to repeat what Foladine has said already. But in context, VAIDS is just a time-limited opportunity for you to declare if you haven't paid taxes before. What the finance minister told me was that the reason why they came up with this VAIDS was actually that they were looking for stolen money all over the world. They said, we know that many of our people have stolen money and they are keeping it in the UK, US, Bermuda, Dubai, US. Yeah, all of those places. As they were looking for stolen money, some of the countries said to Nigeria, do you know what? It's okay to look for stolen money, but you have a bigger problem than corruption. They said that bigger problem is tax. That in addition to stolen money, you have a lot of legitimate money out of the country on which taxes have not been paid. So Nigeria then thought, why don't we attack both issues at the same time? We're looking for stolen money, but we also want to collect taxes. At the end of the day, all the money come in, and we use it to develop Nigeria. The Nigerian people will be better for it. So, if you want to enforce everybody who has evaded tax, even just focusing on the powerful and the mighty and the ultra-high net worth, we have no capacity to do it. So the idea was, why don't I open a window for people to come voluntarily and correct what they have done wrong in the past, so that when we want to do a crackdown, the number we need to tackle is much smaller and we can cope with that. That was the whole idea of VAIDS. Okay? So, you can voluntarily declare and you have 9 months from 1st of July. It's no longer up to 9 months now. It's much less than that. When the acting president was making the speech at the State House, so I was there, and I liked the way he said it. He demonstrated, his a very knowledgeable lawyer, very smart and intelligent. He demonstrated a very commendable knowledge of the issues. Even though they were very technical, you know there's a way you can write a speech for somebody and they are reading, and you know they're just reading, they don't even understand what they are reading, right? For him, not only did he take ownership of the speech, the way he read it was second to none. He was very authentic and he was very sincere. He said in the room, he said that even in this hall, we should have more than 214 of you who are paying 20 million. And that even you, pointing to the governors, the ministers, and all the high and mighty people in the hall, that they're not paying taxes. If you dropped a pen or a pin, you heard the sound. The whole place was dead silent. And I thought he said the right thing, because he needed to say it. Even though they didn't like it, it was the right thing to say. As we speak now, there's still so many of the governors, of the ministers, of the lawmakers, senators who think that even this thing is targeted at them. Right? So which is why I said, let me clear for you first and foremost, it's not about the masses. So, very few people are paying taxes. In the whole of Nigeria, if you move away from people who pay 20 million and 10 million, only 14 million people are registered with the tax, not people that they are paying, that are registered. With all tax authorities, 36 states, Federal Inland Revenue Service, nationwide, 14 million. Of the 14 million, excuse me, of the 14 million, 96% are people who are being taxed through PAYE, which is majority of us. Can you imagine? 96% are PAYE people. Only 4% are outside of PAYE that are with the tax authorities. Nationwide, only 14 million. Nigeria is a country where the workforce is 77 million, according to MBS. I know you can question it, but that's the workforce. People that are supposed to register, whether they have tax to pay or not, is a different thing, but they're supposed to register by law, but you have only 14 million. 14 compared to 77 million is not even up to 1/3. So those messages came out very clearly from the acting president's speech at the time. What has been done now is for you to declare under VAIDS, you have two options. There is the online and there is the offline, because some people don't even have access to the internet or they don't want it. So there's provision for everybody depending on what is convenient for you. And you can do a combination of it. You can start online and finish it offline. There's a website that is dedicated to these particular important projects. If you go to that website, you will find a lot of information. The website is www.vaids.gov.ng www.vaids.gov.ng. You find information including how to register, whether you're an individual or a corporate organization, and also the frequently asked questions.